Yo, I haven't really posted anything for a while, so I figured I might as well do so today. And, well, let you know some of my favourite movies, really. Movies are a great way to bring people together, or just to escape the drudginess world that we live in, and just go to a realm where anything is possible and really anything can happen. Now, some of the movies on this list might surprise you, but, I enjoy them. And whether they're, I don't know, whether they're marketed for certain markets, fair enough, but I tend to enjoy them all the same. My 10th, so let's start things off. My 10th favourite movie, this one might surprise you, is actually A Cinderella Story. I, I don't know why I like this movie, and it's not one I personally own, but it's one that if I go hopping through the channels and I find it, I'm all too happy to stick around to see it out. It is, in some cases, a really nice, heartfelt story. In other ones, it's quite horrible. But the ending, I just feel is heartwarming, and that's why it's become really a favorite of mine. Yeah, especially just seeing everyone get what they deserve. That the Sam get the happy ever after. The the stepmother and the stepsisters getting their just desserts, and even the cheerleader not letting things turn out for her. I find incredibly satisfying. The second choice on my list of my top 10 favourite movies at number 9 is the 2004 live action remake, well, not really remake, live action film of Thunderbirds. Now, this movie got a lot of crud when it came out, and I'm not entirely sure why. I was 7 years old when it came out, and looking back on it now, back when I was 7 and now when I'm 19, I honestly don't see what all the crud was about. I mean, I personally enjoy it. It's another one I don't personally own, but if I go flicking through the channels and I find it, I probably stick around for it. I think it's fun. And number 8 on my list is 90, is the 1990s film Batman Forever. Now, this one as well got a lot of crud. Maybe not as bad as Batman and Robin in 1997, but still, I think it's fun. And while Aaron Eckhart has become the kind of classic Two-Face now, I think they got spot on with Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Plus, Val Kilmer, I think he did a good Batman. Not sure about as Bruce Wayne, but yeah, I think it was a good film. Yeah, it was fun. Uh, yeah, that's what I say about the other two films and about this one. It was fun. Now, my seventh favourite movie, this one, I'm sorry if I'm going to get some hate for this. My seventh favourite movie is Back to the Future Part 3. Now, this is the bit that may get me a little bit of crud, and I'm sorry about this. I personally didn't really like Back to the Future Part 2. Well, maybe not as much as everyone else did. I personally just thought it was a little too dark for my taste. But that's where I think number 3 came into the hole for me. It was once again, it was fun, it was bright, it was set in the western, it had some good plot lines, a good villain, and it ticked all the boxes for me. Whereas Back to the Future Part 2, I don't know, kind of felt a little bit dark and dreary to me. And number 6 on my list, I would go with Blackadder Back and Forth. Blackadder and Co. get launched back into one final adventure before the series went off the air, with Rowan Atkinson's Edmund Blackadder and Tony Robinson's Baldrick basically put in a time machine and flung through time. Now, there were certain areas, I'll admit, that could have been better done, such as they could have done more historical destinations like they were in the show, such as the Georgian times, the medieval period, or the World War Two trenches, whereas in the film we only really got the Tudor era, and then the rest was improv, kind of Robin Hood, the Romans, yeah, and all the rest of it. I feel they could have done a little bit more with that, but for a final go for Blackadder, once again, it was fun, and it provided a good ending to the show. And number 5, my fifth favourite movie would probably be the Lego Movie. Once again, I've seen this on quite a few people's lists, and I'm in that bracket. I mean, this movie just got everything perfect. Got everything perfect. Just it it captured the imagination and the creativity that came with the original Lego sets, and just allow you to fully draw your mind in. Plus, it's an excellent addition to Chris Pratt's growing movie library. And yeah, it it's a fun movie. Although when we first saw it through, my family thought it was a good movie, but it was probably one of the most violent films we've seen for a while. And I'll be bringing up another one of those later. And number four, my fourth favourite movie is the DreamWorks classic How to Train Your Dragon. Now, I I read one book from the series that this was certainly based on, How to Cheat a Dragon's Curse, but that didn't really come into it much at all. But How to Train Your Dragon, I've seen this on quite a few other people's kind of lists or reviews, and it is I other people say it's beautiful, and I thoroughly agree with them. It is one of the most beautiful animated films you ever see, especially the flying scenes. And it's just one that any age you can just look at it and just feel completely lost in it. From the mystical world of the Vikings to the flying skills of the dragons, just it's beautiful. And there's nothing really more to say about that. And number three, my third favourite movie is probably the Disney Pixar film Wall-E. Once again, it's probably another one of those kind of film areas that I'm probably growing out of by now, but every time I see Wall-E, I always think it's beautiful. I mean, yeah, the world that they create, while totally rubbish, and I mean literally, as mankind's abandoned Earth, the way they do how planet Earth is now to how it eventually turns out, the space to how humans have turned out, and the love story between Wally and Eve, it is just perfect. One of Pixar's great classics. Now, my second favourite film, in order to talk about this one, I do need to talk about the other kind of big one from Marvel's library, The Avengers. Now, The Avengers was a great movie. I've seen this on other people's lists, and it is quite a lot of fun and quite a lot of geekdom that you can squeeze into one small packet of time. But I'd probably give that a 2.5 on my list. My second favourite movie is actually Guardians of the Galaxy. This, I think, did everything that the Avengers managed to do in 5 movies and squeezed it into one movie. Made us care about all the characters, made us hate / kind of side with the villains, and just how can you not love a movie that has Chris Pratt, a green Zoe Saldana, a grey Dave Bautista, a talking raccoon voiced by Bradley Cooper, and a tree voiced by Vin Diesel? I mean, how can you not love a concept like that? I mean, I admit most people thought it was going to flop, but that for me is just perfect. And my number one favourite movie is Kingsman: Secret Service. I mean, once again, this is a movie that my family have seen, and we personally think it's a good film, but it's probably one of the most violent films we've seen for a while. But you know what? That just works in its favour. So, having seen Colin Firth in previous years in kind of mostly romantic or family roles, such as What a Girl Wants and Bridget Jones' Diary, it's fun to see him just do something just full on action packed, just full on knock 'em out. And that, for me, just works. Michael Caine's also in there, and Samuel L. Jackson is the villain, to which I only really saw Samuel L. Jackson in kind of good guy roles, such as Mace Windu or Nick Fury, and it's fun to just see him go completely off the rails, just complete badass. But then you also kind of see his viewpoint and just the way that everyone has to come together in order to stop him. I personally feel it's just a brilliant, brilliant film. So yeah, those are my top 10 favourite movies. If you have any problems with that, well, you know where to leave them. That's it for now. See ya.